up, everybody? I just want to talk about my mash lauter technique really quick because it's a bit different than what I used to do as a home brewer. First of all, I want to say, the type of mash you do, whether or not there's steps, decoction, etc., the length of your mash, how you sparge, etc., all really depends on what you're trying to achieve. But generally, I'm doing a single infusion mash where I'm just striking in one time, hitting whatever temperature between 148 and 156, and then I let that rest for about 20 minutes. I go into my Vorloff, where I use that to clarify the beer, brighten things up a little bit, and then I go right into my fly sparge. And how I do things a little differently now as a commercial brewer versus a home brewer when I used to do things is I used to just like jam the water in there. It didn't really matter. I wasn't really watching that water level or how much water was in there. Sometimes my mash would dry out. Sometimes I would overflow the mash tun. It wasn't very legitimate. Now, I'm monitoring that level. I'm keeping it at about, half inch to an inch above the mash bed when I'm sparging. But most importantly, what I'm doing is also I'm also very careful about my water level. I've got a sight glass on my hot liquor tank with a couple of zip ties on it. And so I'll set the starting zip tie to where my water level is when I start. And then I'll set a finishing zip tie to where I want to stop my sparge. And so often, when you're doing brew tools or beersmith or whatever, it has your strike water or whatever, and then your sparge volume at 6, 7, 8 gallons, depending on what you're trying to hit. So I basically set that hot liquor tank sight glass for difference of 6 gallons or whatever that number is. And that way I can stop my sparge and basically like draw out the rest of that water. So one, I'm conserving water, which is really big when you're in pro brewing and doing thousands and thousands of gallons of water. But two, as that bed, as that water level draws down, and that bed starts to drop and starts to compact, it's actually kind of squeezing out all of those remaining sugars that are in there, and you're going to get a much better efficiency by doing it that way. So essentially, I hit my pre-boil volume with maybe quarter gallon left in the mash tun, a little more, a little less, depending on how accurate I was at setting my sight glass. But essentially, I'm squeezing out all the remaining sugars in there, getting out as much extraction as possible. And as long as you keep your pH in line and you're not, sparging way too hot, so I usually sparge at 168, you shouldn't get much extraction from tannins or anything else like that. But let's see, what else? Yeah, that's about it. So just a couple of tips on sparging. Watch your volumes, cut your sparge water off early, try and hit it so that you use almost the last bit of your sparge water as you come to your pre-boil volume in your kettle. With those couple things, you should see a better extraction, especially as you lengthen out that lauter time from like I was doing like 5 minutes. Now I aim for about 30 to 45 minutes, and I'm doing a shorter mash, but when you count the time in there for that long lauter, I've got basically a 60 to 90 minute mash, which also gives me a little better extraction. But anyways, a couple tips. If you have any questions, let me know. Aside from that, happy brewing. Cheers.